Hi, Lindsay. How are you?
Hey there, Aubrey. I'm excited to be here. How are you? How's everything going?
I'm great. I want to ask you, I've noticed recently in a lot of podcasts that are American hosts that they say the word room different from me. And I haven't really noticed this. I'm wondering, how do you say the word room?
I don't think I say it the same way you do, Aubrey.
Okay, interesting.
And I get teased about this. It's the same way I say roof, which is not roof. I say roof or room.
Okay. Yes, I've heard a lot of you're not alone, Lindsay. A lot of Americans pronounce it like room, which it's so subtle. You guys out there listening might not really hear the difference. I say room. It's like a hard ooh, like
Ooh,
broom, room.
yes.
And Lindsay
Mhm.
says room,
Room.
room.
Room. So it's almost like getting more towards like a schwa sound.
Mhm.
Room. Not quite that far, right?
Right. So here's why this is interesting. We had a listener send in a very interesting question, but it's so tricky. Let's go ahead and read the question, then we'll share why this
Yeah.
is really tricky in English.
Okay, this is great. This is from Zara Mosafair, and he or she says, "Hello, Lindsay. I always listen to your podcast. You are awesome." Well, thank you, Zara. That's awesome. We love hearing good feedback from our listeners.
Yes.
This is my question. How are vowels pronounced? Please answer me. Thank you so much. Very direct question.
It is, and I love how direct it is. And of course, vowels are so important, right? If you change the vowel sound, often it's a totally different word,
Yeah.
right? But the tricky thing is, it depends so much on the accent. Like for us just to say, here's how you pronounce all these vowels, it would be very different depending on what dialect you're talking about.
Yeah, and before we get into the technicalities, I want to talk about connection here, Aubrey.
Yeah.
So, the reason I get kind of excited about the room thing is I was recently listening to a podcast, of course, about podcasting, where
Nice.
the host is a guy I now know well. And I heard him say room. And then I heard him say, I get teased for saying that because I'm from Boston. And so I say
Mm.
it that way. I'm from New England. And now he's our consultant, our podcast consultant, and I see him at conferences all the time. He's a buddy of mine now, and felt that connection with him. I was like, this guy is from where I'm from. He speaks the way I do, and it's not why I hired him as a consultant, but I felt a real affinity towards him when I heard him talk about that on his show.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. The kinship
yeah.
of having something in common, especially where you have both been teased or maybe mocked a little
Yes.
bit, that really
Yes.
creates a bond.
So that's what this is about today, guys. It's about understanding differences and what brings us together with people and just getting these vowel sounds. So let's get into it now, Aubrey. Let's get into the technical piece.
Okay,
Let's
so
do
what's
it.
interesting is the number of vowel sounds or vowel phonemes is different in every dialect, right? So in standard Southern British English, there are 19 distinct vowel phonemes, but how many are there in general American English, Lindsay?
Looks like 21 based on our
Right.
research. Yeah.
Yes, and there would be a different number in Southern American English or Northwestern possibly because we do change the vowels a lot depending on our dialect.
Interesting. So general American English, again, hard to define, but it's kind of, I guess we can't point that to a region, right? When we say general American English, we talked about this
No,
before.
exactly, right? It's more like the English you hear on TV, where if
Yeah.
someone knows they have something that makes their accent stronger and they're trying to have this sort of general American sound dialect, they're going to adjust the vowels, adjust the
Adjust it.
letters to sound to have this more general American accent.
Love it. Okay, so what do we need to know then about where do
Well,
we start today?
yes, exactly. That's the other thing is there are so many vowel sounds, like 21, right? We're going to today share just the short and long vowels. There are also diphthongs where there's two vowel sounds, sort of the vowel changes to a second sound within the same vowel, and R controlled vowels or weak vowels. We'll cover those in other episodes. Today, we're
Yes.
going to break off this chunk and
Mm,
share short and long vowels in general American English.
I love it. And then once we learn these guys, we're gonna teach you a really cool application of these
Yes.
vowel sounds where you can take this out into the business world, the marketing world, the literature world, if you're a writer, a poet, and you can make use of this in English.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
cool.
'cause
So
it's
let's
there's
get
a
ready.
lot more to know than just what are the vowel sounds.
Oh
Then
yeah.
there's all this interesting stuff you can do with it. Yes, I
Oh, yeah,
love that.
yeah, we're not here just to study English for
Right.
English, right? We're here to study English for connection, for writing, for marketing, for persuading, for leading. That's the point here,
Yes,
right?
exactly. All right, let's
Yes.
dive in here. So, our first short vowel is is I, like in kit, myth,
Uh-huh.
and pretty. So that's our first short vowel, I.
Okay, love it. So kit, myth, pretty. It's the I. We're bringing back our lips.
Mhm.
I sound. And
Yep.
you guys should really check out this episode on YouTube. Don't you think, Aubrey?
Yes, you can see how we make the sounds with our mouths. We are not able in this episode to dive into every way we change our mouth to make these different vowels, but that's a good idea just to watch on YouTube so you can see the way the mouth moves to pronounce each phoneme.
Yeah, in our courses now, we're going into some really cool, really using technology to help you guys actually practice your pronunciation. I love that feature in our new course platform, Aubrey, where our listeners can hear a native clip and mimic that and listen back, record their voices, listen back, see how closely it matches that native clip.
Yes,
So,
absolutely, right? That is the kind of thing that you really need a course, you need an English class to
yeah, you
dive
do
into the intricacies of pronunciation. We can
for
tell you
sure.
how they sound, you can watch us on YouTube, but there's a lot
Yeah.
more that goes into it.
Oh, for sure. So come over and check out our courses, guys. But what is the next vowel sound?
Okay, so next is like dress, bread,
Eh.
many,
Okay.
friend, right? So that and these each are that have their own, the way they're written, their phoneme, right? The way we write them.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that's
Mhm.
a little tricky because when you write all of these words, you're using different letters. So
It
we
is
write them with the
tricky.
phonetic alphabet.
It is tricky because when I see the spelling of bread, BREAD, I think of the same spelling with a very different sound, like need. Need the
Yes, right?
bread, which
Just
I think
drop
is KNEAD,
mhm.
right?
Just drop the B, you have read or past tense, read.
Yeah,
So
oh gosh. So we can't always rely on the spelling, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And the
All right.
next one, right, is trap. I'll just throw it out there.
Yes. Go for
It's
it.
the sound. So we're really opening our mouths quite large here. Cat, fast, pass, right?
Exactly. And next is strut, like sun, courage, the sound in the second syllable there, or blood. That
Oh my gosh. And just in these examples, I'm seeing 4 different ways to spell the sound. I'm seeing
exactly.
strut. I'm seeing son, son,
Mhm.
courage, right?
With the
I guess,
A
and where's the it's on,
at
okay,
the second
it's the
syllable, the
second
udge.
syllable,
Mhm.
courage, and then blood, So
Right.
wow.
This is really what makes English so difficult when you're reading. You
Yeah,
cannot count on the letters to sound the same, unfortunately. That's one thing that's been so much easier about Spanish. I can look at a vowel letter and know what it's going to sound like. And then there's an
exactly.
accent if it changes. English doesn't do
Exactly.
us that justice.
Love it. And then do we have one more for us
Yes.
here for the short
So the
vowels?
last one is foot, like
Mhm.
took, good, or put. Again, it might be spelled differently, but it's that phoneme
Yes, I love that. Ugh, okay. The spellings are all different, but we have to learn the sounds. Foot.
Exactly. All
Ugh.
right, let's go into
Okay.
some long vowels. So
Yes, we've
first we
got
have
3.
E, right? Like
Mhm.
fleece, sea, and people.
Mhm. All right. Fleece, so that's spelled with 2 E's, but again, don't worry about the spelling. It's just that sound, E. We're pulling our lips back. The E sound. And then what's the
Hmm.
next one?
Next is
Ah.
ah, like lot,
Okay.
thought, palm, watch,
Mhm.
caught, ah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's quite open as well. Ah. And I'm having to really pull down my chin to make that a little bit further back.
Right, you have to pull your chin down, right, Aubrey?
Hmm.
Ah, lot,
Hmm.
thought, palm, and then goose. Ooh, the ooh sound, like as in new, do, or tuna. That first syllable of tuna. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've just gone through a lot of vowel sounds. Our listeners might be wanting to rewind and listen again, but what's the point? Why are we doing this? Why do we
Yeah.
care?
First of all, keep in mind this is not an extensive list, right? There's so
Yeah.
many vowels that are also diphthongs. Like there's just it gets pretty complicated, but this does give you the short and long vowels. And pronunciation of vowels is not just about speaking clearly, it's also about understanding and using interesting language features. So we're going to share one of those today. Like Lindsay said, this can help you if you work in marketing. It can help you recognize devices that are used in marketing to make you purchase products. And you can
Oh my
also
gosh.
see that it's used as a literary device.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we used to have a product called Power Hour, right? Speaking Power Hour.
Yes.
And that's an example of this, right? We don't have that product anymore, but it was just live classes. But the idea is you can use the word power to show energy, excitement, enthusiasm. We're coming together for about an hour or maybe even half an hour. It doesn't really matter. Power hour. That's more interesting than live group classes, right?
Right. So this
Yes.
this language feature is called assonance. It's the repetition of vowel sounds. So just like that example that Lindsay gave, power hour, you see the
Mhm.
vowel repeated there. It's a poetic device that writers use to make words stand out, or marketers use to make their logo, right, their catchphrases more catchy, more memorable.
Yeah, I love that. Very interesting. Let's give our listeners more examples of these assonants, of using assonance and where we see it, how it's used. Yeah.
Yes. So one good example is no pain, no gain. You have all those repeated vowels. No pain, no gain, right? We hear this when we're talking about the importance of working out, right? You definitely might hear this in sports drink commercials. It's anything that's really catchy and helping you remember something.
Yeah, this is a common, I guess, refrain in our culture, right? We say this to each other if we know we're committing to something and it's painful, it's hard. Not just working out, I would say also, I guess, committing yourself to anything that's inconveniencing you, making you work a little harder
Totally.
than you might. Like maybe you're starting a new business and you're working 12 hours a day, but no pain, no gain, right?
Exactly. It's just a great expression for saying, like, I know this is going to be difficult, but it's going to provide value. It's going to be beneficial. No pain, no
Yes.
gain.
I love that. So good. So good. What's another one? I love this one.
Yes, surf and turf. So this means it's like a dish usually that has both seafood and, meat from the land. So maybe like a
Right.
steak and lobster would be surf and turf.
Stay
But
lobster. Right. Yeah.
there's a reason they don't call it seafood and beef, right? It's
Boring.
so catchy to say surf and turf. It
Surf and
rhymes.
turf. And you see this all over the place in the US, right? A lot of times restaurants, they'll have it obviously maybe as a header in a menu section,
Yep,
or a name of a
exactly.
dish, as you said, or it could also be like, I don't know, on their signage outside, the
Right.
awning. What do you offer? Seafood, surf and turf,
Yes.
steak,
It's important
right?
to know that's because if you're allergic to seafood, you wouldn't wanna go to a
Oh my
restaurant and be like, "I'll
gosh.
try the surf and turf." I don't know what that is, but
Oh my gosh, and I do have someone in my life who's super allergic to
ooh,
seafood.
that's
Like, she can't
scary.
even be near someone eating seafood. So,
Wow.
yes,
Avoid the
it's
surf and
important.
turf for her.
Yeah, for sure. So that's a good one. And then what's the next one that's really fun?
So the next one is slowpoke. This is one word in English, and we use it
Mhm.
to describe a person who's slow. I'll often call one of my son a slowpoke because he just meanders. He's never in any hurry.
Yeah, 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 I love that. You're a slow poke. Stop being a slow poke, right? Again, really
Mhm.
fun. And then chips and dip, coming back to the type of food. You might use this if you're inviting over friends. Hey, let's, come on over for happy hour. I'll have chips and dip. You can bring guacamole, right?
Mhm. Exactly
That's so
right.
good.
It's just
Yeah,
so interesting when we're creating these fun little phrases. Sometimes they sort of just develop out of language because they sound fun, right? It
they're
rhymes.
fun.
It's interesting. And sometimes it is, like you were saying, Lindsay, it has been the brainchild of a marketing team
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
in order to make something seem more, um, what's the word? More desirable.
Kinda, like, sexier
Yeah.
or sleeker, yeah, more desirable. I mean, that's what
Mhm.
marketing is, right? So if you guys can come up with I would this would be so fun to do in our community. We'll have our community open soon to listeners of All Ears English, but I would love for us to be able to come together and find examples, especially in marketing and business, of
Absolutely.
where brands have used this. Well, maybe we'll come back to that, Aubrey. We'll come
Definitely,
back to it
let's
later.
do it. Well, let's do a role play.
Yeah.
In this one, you and I are headed to the gym together. So
Okay.
I'll start us out. I really didn't feel like working out today, but no pain, no gain.
Yeah. Oh, same. It's hard to stay motivated. I had surf and turf last night though, so I gotta work that off.
Oh, yeah, same. I ordered dessert. I might be a slow poke during the class today. I'm just feeling low energy.
I love it.
So we
So,
use some of these fun phrases with assonance. I first said no pain, no gain. We do hear this a lot for exercise, but you're right. You can use this for anything, anything that might be a little bit difficult. Really, what you're
yeah,
saying is there's no value in something if it's not difficult.
it's kind of true, isn't it? As a life philosophy. I mean, if
Hmm.
something isn't hard, then what's that expression like? If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it.
Right,
And then it
exactly.
wouldn't be something important or special or higher level, right? So, good to keep in mind, we want to be doing the hard things in life, right? The hard things that motivate us, excite us.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Right. And then you said I had surf and turf last night. So this is always something you eat. There, we don't use it to mean anything else. It's just a dish
Yeah.
that has both seafood and maybe beef or pork.
Yeah, and again, turf is another word, as you said, from the land, right? Turf is
Mhm.
another word for, I guess, grass or the
Yes,
land, earth, the
exactly. So
earth
it's like you're
itself.
saying sea and land.
You see and land, love it. Oh, so native and natural, Aubrey. This is so good for our listeners. And then you said, "Oh yeah, same. I ordered dessert. I might be a slowpoke during class today." And when you say that, you're kind of making fun of yourself a little. You're sort of, yeah, giving
Right,
yourself a
right. I'm
nickname
saying, "Oh,
that's,
I've kind of got some low energy. I might be a slow poke." So
yeah,
imagine you're going into some class where usually you have to be really high energy. You're anticipating, I might go more slowly than everybody else. Yeah, it's kind of a way to poke fun about yourself or someone else.
yeah. And as a bonus extension there, you could say, "Stop being so pokey," right? Like
Oh,
we could have
yeah.
when I was a kid, our cat's name was Pokey.
Oh, cute. There's a
Yeah, so
really famous children's book called The Pokey Little Puppy, right? Just
yeah.
means kinda slow, just, like, not in a hurry to get
Yeah.
anywhere.
Right, right, or if your partner is always kinda saying like, "Oh, you're so slow to get out of the house," right? "You're so pokey when we're trying to leave the house. Stop
Mhm.
being so pokey." Very common, good bonus for our listeners today.
Yep. Nice. So, as just a little takeaway here, guys, it's really important to use vowels correctly so that your message is clear, of course. We talked recently in an episode about how the best way to practice this is through shadowing, mimicking. We shared some recommendations, and it also adds color and variety to our speech and our
Yes.
marketing.
Yeah, I love it, guys. I mean, think about what you're doing here at All Ears English. What we're doing together is we're looking for ways to connect. So, yes, we have to learn the technical pieces of the vowels, but that's not our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is to come up with one of these phrases, insert it into our expressions, and connect. Have a fun moment together with a friend. Okay, so that's the key to keep in mind. Yes.
Awesome. Yes, I love this. Such a great episode today, and go out there, give these a try, right? Use some
Yes.
assonance, look for it when you're reading, listen for it when you're watching TV shows or podcasts. You're going to start
Mhm.
hearing that repetition of vowels that's intentionally used to make something more memorable.
Very cool. Very interesting piece of the vowel use. I love it. All right, Aubrey, let's get off the mic for today. I'll see you soon back on
Awesome.
here. All
Yep.
right. Take
See ya.
care.
Bye.
Bye.